Imagine this. A crowded room, voices rising, words clashing like swords. Someone insults you. You feel your chest tighten, your fists clench, your pride screaming to strike back. But instead you breathe. You look into their eyes and say nothing. Not because you're weak, but because you've already won. This is not cowardice. This is power. The kind of power that comes from within. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself, because its presence is felt in its silence. Staying calm in the face of confrontation isn't about pretending you're not angry or denying the tension in the room. It's about mastering the fire within you before it burns everything around you. Let me tell you a story. There was a young warrior named Akio who lived in a mountain village in feudal Japan. From a young age, Akio was known for his fierce temper. If someone insulted him, he responded with fury. If someone challenged him, he fought without hesitation. He thought this made him strong, respected. But one day, everything changed. During a village dispute, an elder accused Akio's father of betrayal. In front of the entire village, the old man pointed a shaking finger and spat venomous words. Akio felt the rage rise like a wave. His fists clenched, his breath shortened, and he stepped forward, ready to strike. But his father raised a hand. "Do not fight the wind," his father said calmly. "Become the mountain." That night, confused and still burning with anger, Akio asked his father why he hadn't defended himself. His father replied, "You think I stayed silent because I am weak. But in truth, I did it because I am free. When you react to every insult, you become a puppet pulled by the strings of others. But when you remain still in the storm, they lose their power over you. That is true strength." It took Akio years to understand those words, but he began to train, not just with his sword, but with his spirit. Meditation at dawn, long hours of silence, facing his own temper as if it were an enemy to be disarmed. And gradually, something changed. He no longer flinched at criticism. He no longer rushed to defend his ego. He learned to listen first, to breathe, to stand tall, even when others tried to drag him into their chaos. One day, a rival warrior came to challenge him in front of a crowd. The man insulted Akio's honor, his family, his past. But Akio didn't move. He met his eyes, nodded once, but then said, "You may shout. I will not follow your anger into the dark." The crowd was silent. The rival, unsettled, turned and left. That day, Akio won without drawing his sword. Staying calm in confrontation isn't about weakness. It's about inner command. It's choosing not to dance every time someone plays a bitter tune. And yes, it's hard, because it demands you face your pride, your wounds, your need to be right. But that's the difference between those who are ruled by the world and those who rule themselves. Let's not pretend this world rewards restraint. It celebrates outbursts, glorifies revenge, applauds the loudest voice in the room. But that's not real strength. That's insecurity, dressed up in bravado. True strength, the kind possessed by warriors like Miyamoto Musashi, is silent. It watches, it calculates, it chooses its moment, or chooses no moment at all. There's a story about Miyamoto Musashi, one of history's greatest swordsmen, walking through a quiet village, his sandals scraping lightly against the cobblestone streets. The air was still, and the villagers went about their business, unaware of the storm that was about to brew. Suddenly, a brash young swordsman, eager to prove himself and make a name, spotted Musashi. The young man, fresh with arrogance and pride, recognized the legendary swordsman and saw an opportunity to test his own skills and reputation. Without hesitation, the young swordsman approached Musashi, a sneer on his face. "You must be Musashi," he spat. "I've heard of you, the so-called undefeated swordsman. You've won many duels, but are you brave enough to face me?" His voice was loud, designed to provoke, to draw attention. "I challenge you to a duel, right here, right now. Let's see if you really are all you claim to be." Musashi paused for a moment, his expression unreadable as the young man's taunts echoed in the air. The crowd gathered, sensing the tension, their eyes darting between the two men. The young swordsman, sensing victory already, pressed on. "What's the matter? Are you afraid? You're nothing but a coward if you turn away from this challenge." The insult stung, and for a moment, the young man thought he had won. But to his surprise, Musashi didn't flinch. He didn't draw his sword. He didn't even raise his voice. Instead, he gave a small, knowing smile and turned away, continuing his walk as though the young swordsman's words had never reached him. The crowd fell silent. The young man stood frozen in shock, his challenge unanswered. Anger and frustration began to rise within him, and he shouted after Musashi, calling him weak, calling him a coward for not accepting the duel. But Musashi didn't respond. He simply walked on, his gait steady, his focus undisturbed. Some of the villagers murmured amongst themselves, puzzled by Musashi's reaction. "He's a fool," one said. "He should have shown the young man who's boss. He should have fought." Another whispered, "What's the point of being so skilled if you won't even defend your honor when someone challenges you?" The young swordsman, humiliated and burning with rage, kept shouting, his words growing more desperate. But Musashi, who had seen countless battles in his lifetime, understood something far deeper than the onlookers could grasp. He understood that not every battle was worth fighting, and not every insult demanded a response. Musashi knew that true mastery wasn't in defeating every opponent who crossed your path. It was in having the wisdom to choose your battles carefully. The young swordsman was looking for validation, for his ego to be stroked, for the glory of a duel that would elevate his reputation. But Musashi, calm and composed, recognized that there was no honor in engaging with someone who was only seeking to drag you into their own turmoil. He knew that letting his emotions take over would be a loss of control, that rising to the bait would be a surrender to chaos. In that moment, Musashi wasn't just a master swordsman. He was a master of his own mind. He knew that true power lies not in responding to every challenge, but in having the strength to walk away when necessary. The duel Musashi had already fought was within himself, the battle to remain calm, to not let his emotions control him, to not let his pride take the reins. And in walking away, he won the greatest victory of all, the victory over his own impulses. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one shouting. It's the one who remains still, the one who knows he could destroy you, but chooses not to, because he doesn't need to. His power is not in what he proves, but in what he withholds. Think about the times you've lost your cool. Did it ever end the way you wanted? How often did anger solve the problem? Most times it made it worse. You said things you didn't mean. You acted out of impulse, not intention. You handed your power to someone else, all because they knew which button to push. But what if no button worked anymore? What if you rewired your mind to the point where nobody could drag you into their chaos? This is not about being emotionless. It's about channeling your emotions into clarity. When someone attacks you, verbally, emotionally, even physically, the first question you must ask isn't, how do I fight back? But, what's the outcome I want? Is it peace, respect, resolution, or do you just want to feel powerful for a moment, even if it costs you everything later? Every confrontation is a mirror. It shows you who you are. Are you ruled by ego or anchored in purpose? Do you need to win every argument, or are you content winning the war within? There's a passage in the Bible, Proverbs 16:32. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Think about that. You could conquer cities, raise armies, be feared by nations. But if you can't control your temper, you're still a slave. To be calm in conflict is to walk into the fire and remain unburned. It's to be the eye of the storm, to hear the insults, feel the sting, and still choose grace. That doesn't mean you let people walk over you. Musashi trained not just in swordsmanship, but in philosophy, painting, calligraphy. Why? Because he understood, a warrior without depth becomes a brute. But a warrior who cultivates stillness becomes a legend. He fought over 60 duels and never lost, not just because he was fast, but because he was focused, unshaken, composed even in chaos. You need that same discipline, not just in confrontations, but in life, in your relationships, your business, your goals. Every time someone tries to bait you into reacting, ask yourself, is this a fight or is this a trap? Most people are not looking for resolution, they're looking for reaction. Don't give it to them. Instead, give them silence, give them a smile, give them the unsettling calm of someone who cannot be moved. And watch how quickly their power fades. You are not here to prove your worth to every fool who challenges you. Your presence should speak louder than your defense. Let your peace be the thing that rattles them. Let your restraint be the weapon they never saw coming. So the next time confrontation comes knocking, don't answer with noise. Answer with stillness. Answer with wisdom. And remember, you don't rise by reacting. You rise by refusing to descend.